Hello, everyone. Welcome. Give a few seconds for people to join us. All right, we'll get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Davis. I'm the co-president of HSMAI South Florida. Welcome to our episode 1 of the 4-part Digital Marketing Lunch and Learn webinar series presented and sponsored by the digital marketing experts at Visergy. Whether you're a seasoned hospitality marketer or just starting out, the series is designed to give you the skills, tools, and insights that you need to grow your digital presence and drive real results. So each section is going to offer some actionable insights, timely strategies focused on the latest trends and technologies shaping the hospitality marketing industry. And so before I hand it off to Jeremiah and Devin, who's on the call with me today, we want to tout some of the benefits of HSMAI. Our industry is complex and we're here to connect the dots. So HSMAI, the Hospitality Sales Marketing Association International, is committed to growing business for hotels and their partners. And we're the leading advocates of intelligent, sustainable hotel revenue growth. And the association provides hotel professionals and their partners with tools, insights, and expertise to fuel sales, inspire marketing, and optimize revenue. This chapter alone has over 200 local members, and the benefits of joining are the weekly insights from industry experts, best practices and case studies by top marketers like what Visergy is providing today, customer market and business knowledge through programs and publications that are shared through email communication and online, access to industry contacts through the hsmai.org login, and also online tools and educational support for your career, like the certification programs for CHDM, CRME. And there's significant savings for programs and events like these events that we're hosting today in person, but also nationally, like the Commercial Strategy Week that's coming up in July. So our mission at South Florida, last year at our annual gala, we awarded 5 students from FIU, FAU, and Lynn University the Dr. Peter Ritchie Scholarship. So each fall, the chapter raises funds and offers scholarships to deserving students who are pursuing careers in our industry that are undergraduate or graduate degrees. They're studying hospitality management, tourism, or in a related field at a college or university in our market. And so if you can support the Dr. Peter Ritchie Scholarship and help local students thrive, you can scan this QR code. You'll enter PayPal. If you can donate 5, 10, 20, anything would be greatly appreciated. Or to learn more about the scholarship, if you're a student participating today and would like to apply, just visit our website at hsmaisouthflorida.org/students. And you can learn what are the qualifications to apply for this scholarship. So, that is my final note. So I'll turn it over to Devin to introduce Jeremiah and set up some housekeeping items.
Thank you so much, Christina. My name is Devin Stiles. I'm the Director of Corporate Marketing for Visergy. And if you have any questions throughout our session, please use the Q&A option at the bottom of the screen. And we'll try to get to those questions throughout the webinar. But if we don't get to it immediately, we've saved some time at the end to answer some of those. So feel free to ask any questions and Jeremiah will get to them. And without further ado, our fearless leader of web design, Jeremiah Mathews.
Thanks, Devin. Yeah, I would love to make this more of a conversation than just an annoying monologue. So ask as many questions as you can, and I will try to jump in and answer. Even, I'll give you I don't know if it goes over my head. But anyway, thank you for the plug, HSMAI, and we're excited to be here. For the first one, I am the creative director. So I think I was finding that. So first about Visergy. We've been in the business 25 plus years. We've got 1,700 clients. We work with some of the biggest names in hospitality, and we have really long-term partnerships with those people. We really think that's because we are both a joy to work with and and we really make other companies money. We make it easy for them to use our systems, and we work as part of your team. And it feels like an extension of your team when you have Visergy involved. So I think our clients would say the same thing. And as you can see, we work with some of the big ones. So that's my plug. Those are all the plugs you'll have to listen to the whole time. I'm the creative director at Visergy. I have been at Visergy for almost 8 years, and I've been in the digital marketing space much longer, working at agencies before I came here and in the professional sports arena. But I'm here with hotels, and I think I've found my home. We really have a great team in design here who helped me put this together. So shout out to them for that. I also have my own farm, which is weird, I know. But me and my wife grow our own food. We milk goats and make cheese, and we have a vineyard if you ever need wine or cheese. Anyway, like we said, if there's anything specific you want to cover, I'm willing to make it more like jazz as opposed to just going straight through these. If there's anything you feel like you want to cover or don't see covered enough, or if there's any questions you have or anything you want us to focus on, let us know. It's crickets. Okay, so I did one of these last year, and I tried to do a similar setup. This year, I'm doing something similar, but I'm trying to give it more of a branding since we are in marketing. This is 2025 and beyond design and tech, and trying to marry those two together to tell your story better. So often I feel like we are siloed in our companies, or we are in like disparate locations now. So how can we bring all this together and have design and tech and SEO and all of our AI? How can we collaborate all this to make something feel authentic and make something that a consumer sees as, I would say, different, and gives you an advantage over your competition? So that's pretty much my selling point for this time. Okay, so what we're going to cover, interactivity on websites and using that in a personalized way so it doesn't feel like a third-party embed or something, making it feel personalized. You'll hear me say like authentic 15 different ways during this, so bear with me. Also, personalization and what that entails for the website, and how to use personalization in a way that clients just feel it and they don't even really recognize it. So much of our lives on the digital space is has personalization involved in it, whether it's social media or e-commerce. That how do we make that? How do we bring our websites into the 21st century here? You'll always see me plug accessibility, mostly because I hate talking to lawyers, but also I just feel like it's, in 2025, websites need to be accessible. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's easy to do. I say you need to really start that conversation at the beginning of a project and not at the end of it. So you being an advocate for things like this, whether it's personalization or SEO or accessibility, starting those conversations really early and really putting the onus on you to be the advocate for those things in the design process is hyper important. Also, AI tools. I know literally every webinar is about AI these days. So for me, and what I'm going to talk about is AI and how to tell authentic stories with AI. And then the intersection between SEO and design. Cool. All right. So yeah, I don't love PowerPoints, so I'm going to go off grid a few times here. So interactivity and personal touches are just about ways to make your website stand out and feel technology driven without it feeling like you added something third party like a Google map. So branded dynamic maps. So I am in the warpath against Google APIs because it costs a lot of money. They're not ADA accessible, and you can see one a mile away. So what we do with our maps now is we create dynamic maps. Here, I'll just pull one up real quick. All right. So this is, and this doesn't necessarily pertain to everyone because we don't have a whole island to work with, but you'll see this map It looks like part of the website. If I keep scrolling, it just feels like part of the website. And it's actually just an image. If you look, this is just an image. And we do the hard work of styling this per breakpoint, because from mobile all the way up to the large size desktops. And then it's also interactive. So you'll see I can click on something and it shows up. And if you can also see, I'm gonna stop using my mouse for a second, and you'll see I'm tabbing through this map, and then I can still click on stuff, and I can still get out of it, meaning it's a screen reader can use it, and it's ADA accessible, which a Google map is not. And it's just like a breath of fresh air having maps like this on a website. So you take a little while to make work, especially on mobile, but we have great technology that does that. And I think it really makes the site feel fresh and new and not feel like overcome with technology. Here's another example of it being used. It feels branded, it feels different, but then it's easily accessible. I would also say don't stop here. Like, this map is of a country or of something maybe you would use for a multi-prop, but this could be of an area. And you could, if you're in a great area of town, let's say you're the Intercontinental where we're going to go in June, show what's around you and then say, hey, look how close and walkable we are to this awesome restaurant, to this great sunset point people don't know about, and start showing them around like they're locals. Like you're a local showing your friend around. Okay. So also interactive resort maps. It's a similar process. I mean, we do them a little differently, but really it's just about making the website usable for everyone, both people on a mobile device. Let's say you're walking around a big resort. I think I got an example of that too. All right, so this is a former college campus, so it's huge. It's got 1,000 rooms, but it's got lots of other stuff to do. And their original website didn't show the breadth of everything they had to do. So it looked boring. It looked like you were going to be stuck inside of a dorm the whole time. So what we did was show a large map where you can click on it and see all the different things you could do. And it doesn't have to stop here. Again, this could be a resort. And if you had multiple restaurants, someone on their phone walking around could click on the restaurant and maybe it pulls up hours, maybe it pulls up the menu right there. So you're starting to get back to core hospitality like you would at the hotel level, but you're doing it in a digital space. And the more we can marry the digital space with the on property, the better the website's going to be, the better the experience is going to be, the more excited and informed someone's going to be when they get there. Okay. Are these maps created in WordPress? No. At Visergy, I'm going to go into my plug. At Visergy, we have a content management system. This is just coded. So, where you could build something like this in a program like WordPress, but if you look, this is just an image. So this is an image. It's just a picture, so it's fast to load, much faster than if I used a Google map or something. And then we position the maps per breakpoint where they are just by using like a Z and an X like you would on a graph. So they're super simple to set up. They just take a long time because you have to position all the points. But we feel like that's the right way, especially for a mobile user who's going to need that information walking around a resort when they're lost. So definitely something to look at. And anybody, this is not just a Visergy thing. Anybody can build these if they have the chutzpah to do it. So, all right, quizzes. I like this. I wish websites, especially websites like ours, were more playful. So I have an example of that too. So if you see this, I'm gonna click through. It's gonna ask me questions, and you'll see. I'll start clicking. Okay, almost there. And then once I answer all the questions, it's going to give me an island that most suits my questions and answers. And then I like this. I like this interactivity and this play on the website. It gives people a reason to be here. It also informs them a lot. So a few ways you could use this if you don't have a bunch of islands are you could make it about your restaurants. You could say, hey, if I have a few restaurants on property, what restaurant best suits you? Are you looking for a night on the town? Are you looking to dress up or dress down? Are you with your wife? Are you with friends? There's a lot of ways this could work. And then at the end, you can show that restaurant, show a menu. You can show whatever you want on this page. Here, we're just showing a mood board. So it gets people excited. It gets them invested. Another way you could do this, if you're trying to capture some income, is you could show different activities or excursions you have on a property and what excursion would suit them best. Or maybe you curate someone's perfect day and you put a daily timeline widget at the end of curating their perfect day, where they've got, hey, we're going to get up and have coffee. We're going to go for a paddleboard. We're going to rent bikes and watch a sunset. You can really start to get back, like I'm saying, core hospitality with these things that we curated for you. I think just like you're already doing on property a lot of times. So playful, I don't think playful is a negative thing, and it still feels high end and it still feels curated for them, but it also feels that little bit of technology that you don't even notice that the technology is there. And that's where I think technology is done right, where it's just helping and it's just making the experience better. Also field guides. I think I probably pitched this on the last one. So if you were in the last one, I apologize hearing this again. But like have your concierge, your front desk, whoever is on hotel, have them recommend their favorite local spots like they were recommending them to a friend. I love going to Spain. I have a friend there, and he can show me around. He knows all the best spots. He knows like the French bread, you have to get there before 8. So there's a lot of things in his neighborhood that really make it better. Here's an example of that from Reverb Hotels. Shout out Sal, because this was a great idea. And they used musicians as a CeeLo, but I think you could just as easily have your staff curate experiences for people. You could say, hey, there's a coffee place down the street. They have a great lavender latte. They have great scones, but get the blueberry, it's much better. And I'm going to read this real quick just to explain. This is the best local restaurant for me, homegrown, and a really good friend of mine. And he says, I ordered dry rub wings, 6-piece, the fish, they have fried whiting. So I think getting specific, and that specificity feels like you're talking to a friend, and feels like if I was looking at the website, I feel like I'm getting a localized experience, which makes me more excited to come. Okay. Well, I have bad news. That personalization is now expected on hotel websites. If you look at our social media and you look at e-commerce, you look at 99% of our digital lives, they are personalized experiences, and people just expect that. It's not. I don't feel like it's really there's any way to do anything else. So I also think you need to be changing out your content seasonally. Using social feeds is good. Using offers feeds and calendar feeds. I like bringing timeliness into the website, but also don't just use a calendar feed for on-property events. Capture some of that SEO value for things around you, events you have that people might be searching, and then feeding that into the homepage of the website by feeds. But then also do the grunt work of going in and changing your photos often and changing your content often. If you have a stale website you made 3 years ago and you haven't changed the photos, go change them tomorrow, because people don't want to keep coming back to the website for the same experience. Then there's no reason for them to come to the website. You need to create some kind of reason for them to come back. And then Visergy, I don't know what anybody else does, but we include personalization on all sites. And that doesn't just mean like I can go in and do it. It means you can go in and the client can add their own personalization. They can segment groups, and they can better target their customer. I'm going to show you an example of that real quick. And this is playing with fire, So I'm going to go into a dummy account. So here's the account as it is. Here's the website. So this is what I see if I come to it. I've got a slider, got a basic intro, and this is the home page. Now I'm going to navigate to the wedding page. Sorry if this is rudimentary in any way. And then I've been to the wedding page, and now when I go back to the home page, I get a customized home page. So if you see here, now I've got a new slide. My old slides are still here, but I added a new slide. And then I also, and I think more powerfully, changed the intro to try to submit an RFP to our wedding planner. And this is a pretty simplistic way, using just navigating to a weddings or an events page to do this. But a more powerful way would be, let's say you have a link on the knot, we can use that coming into us. And if they're navigating from the knot to this, then we can use that to already show them the homepage as it is when they get here. Again, curating that experience, and that could keep going. You could keep going for widgets all the way down. And you might be saying, that's impossible. I can't do this. I say, no, it's super easy. All right, so if you see, here's that slide. It's got a little personalization icon. And then it says personalized up here. I can go to edit audience, and you see this says visited wedding page. But you can also add rules, and I'll show you kind of what we can do. So there's, a cookie. They've been delivered to the reservation system, language, city and state, country, and then campaign URL parameters. So there's a lot of things you can use in here to customize that homepage. And if you look, that would take me 8 seconds, maybe 20 seconds conservatively. And then I could add in new slides, add in new widgets, and make sure we are curating that experience for that customer. Anyway. And you can see here on our main dashboard, you can also see where your referring domains are, which is a really nice add just right here. So I can really figure out where people are coming from to possibly target those in my personalization experience. Okay. And then I had a few examples. Yeah, cool. All right, so some personalized examples would be like we just looked at, wedding or event interest, giving locals versus out-of-state people different content, I think is really, really good. And I think being in Jacksonville, where I am, if I'm going to the beach here, I definitely want a different experience than someone who's coming from out of state. So trying to definitely coordinating like what the offers are that I'm going to see versus someone who's out of state, or what experiences I'm going to see versus someone that's out of state. You can really quickly, and I know it sounds scary and it sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. And you can go in and really tailor these home pages to somebody in their different ways. Mobile phone users is another one we use a lot. And then the most obvious one would be customers coming from display campaigns where we know exactly what they clicked on. And now we then tailor that experience to what they clicked on, showing them the offer, showing them the information right away. So that's powerful and not used enough, I think. And this is me just burning everyone that doesn't use personalization, so I apologize. But some of y'all are still working on a brick Nokia, playing Snake, which I love Snake, but it's time to step up to the iPhone website. And that's what we feel like we're making, is iPhone websites where you don't even notice the technology. It's just there behind the scenes, making your life easier. All right. No one go to sleep over this. I'm so sorry, but I have to talk about accessibility. It's important to me. It's important to a lot of people. Again, I don't like lawyers. I mean, like, I like them as people and everything. I just don't really want to talk to them in a professional setting. So for me, accessibility is paramount, and it needs to be a conversation at the build process. Like if you're making wireframes, you need to build in accessibility in that part of it. And a designer is not always going to first think of accessibility. Designers, and I've worked with a million of them, like to make themselves the stars. And you need to really go in there and say, like, no, we need to think about functionality, accessibility, searchability early in the process. And how do we do that? At Visergy, the main way we do that is with something we call the performance analysis scans. So quarterly, after the website launches and the website launches ADA accessible, we go in quarterly and check to make sure things aren't broken. The WCAG 2.0 standards haven't changed a little bit and zagged, where we have to then start to update, but you need to be checking your websites quarterly. And then you're saying, yeah, we do that. We have an automated scan, and that's nowhere near enough. So what we do is we have a developer go in and do a manual scan with a screen reader to make sure that your website works for people actually using a screen reader, because most of the complaints in the industry we're seeing are from people using a screen reader, trying to book a room and being unable. So that is an easy process to know how to do, and I've done that tutorial before. But it's easy to do, simple to do, and that needs to be quarterly. Now, secondarily, you need to save the information. So we create a history, like a Library of Alexandria of ADA, where we keep, every time we do a scan, we make comments and we talk about what happened and what we changed. We saved all of that content. So then if we get a complaint for some reason, we can show we made a good faith effort to keep the website accessible. You really overwhelm them with information showing the hard work you've done. And it can really work. We had someone, it was frivolous, they had blasted like 200 places in the same area with complaints. And then they came to us. We had this quarterly scan, about a year and a half of quarterly scans. So we sent that information to them, overwhelmed them, and then they replied, okay, that was a mistake. We accidentally sent that. And for us, that's like winning the Super Bowl. And that would be a lame Super Bowl, obviously. But it was like such a great feeling, be like, we actually have a way to beat these. So just something to take away is ADA is still around, it's still important, and it's 100% necessary. And you're like, yeah, I know that, duh. But here's some terrible, scary notes that 54% of homepages are still missing alt text on images. And every SEO person right now is rolling over from that. 81% of homepages are affected by low color contrast. Websites, obviously, with high accessibility scores are associated with higher revenue. Hence Visergy, plug. Proper alt text can raise your SEO score as well. So that's important. We'll talk more about that in a second. So this one's probably also a good thing just to remember, and it's forgotten a lot, is minimalistic websites are the ones that people like. If you put two websites in front of people and it's an overcomplicated website that maybe an owner decided needed to show everything and not just show one thing, they're going to take the minimalistic one every day. I always say this is, pretend like your homepage is a billboard and the consumer's driving past. What is the key message you would want to convey? An average homepage time is 54 seconds max. And what are you going to do with that 54 seconds? I would say, so this is just an exercise on how to better think about that. Think about the 3 to 4 reasons why someone comes to a hotel. And then I'll wait like 5 seconds because I don't like silence. Okay, that was enough. And then maybe it's normal things. Maybe it's price. Maybe it's location. And maybe it's the hotel vibe, great staff. Maybe the food's awesome. Like, think about what's your elevator pitch to people on why they should choose you over a competitor. And then try to build your homepage around those answers. And that's a pretty easy thought exercise that I'm sure everyone can do who works at a hotel. Who's working with a hotel, like, what are you going to use? So if it's location, maybe we do one of those branded maps like you were talking about, but we highlight proximity of the key attractions to show and get them excited about how you're so close to everything. If it is price, like, regularly updated offers that are dynamically fed to the homepage and are, high up on that homepage real estate. Maybe it's the vibe. And then we really try to make a mood board or a gallery that shows the little details that make your property special, or great staff, which hopefully you have. And that could be testimonials, or it could be like a specialized spotlight lower down on the homepage where you're introducing staff and talking about what they like about the area and what they would do in a day. So a lot of ways we could work that. No questions? We're good? Am I talking too much? Okay. So this is just use AI as a tool and not as an answer. Um, I think when everyone is using the same tool to do something, doing something different can make you stand out and make it feel much more authentic. And I'm not sitting here telling you not to use ChatGTP or any other. All right, shout out Monica. Um, and So I think I'm not sitting here telling you not to use ChatGTP. I'm telling you to use it intelligently and use it in a way. If you're going to add something in there, you need to really be thinking about the brand voice and tell it the brand voice you're looking for. Try to give it examples of the brand voice you're looking for so everything sounds the same. And continue to refine that process. Like, don't take your first one, continue to refine and continue to try to make it sound more authentic. And God forbid you go in and make your own copy, throw some copy in there. Yeah, not really reading what I wrote, but it's pretty much the idea. And how do we use AI at Visergy? First and best, I think, is web analytics, and you can find insights quickly and find ways to take action to remedy potential problems. We are all very busy, and we always have to do webinars or something. But instead of that, you can go in and you can actually, I'll show you how we do it. Is we have AI insights around that just show what's going on and then try to identify problems so we can take actions to them. And you'll see those throughout our sites, that there's AI insights talking about what's happening and what we can do to make it better. Content generation is a big one. We have that built into our systems, and I know we all do that. And like I was saying, just make sure you give it a framework. And if you can give a better framework, you get a better result. That's what I've learned just in the industry. Like, make sure the framework is there. And if anybody knows JSON, like a way you code in JSON, you can even do it that way, and it really gives it its own framework. It makes the process much easier. Alt text is another great way. We have automated alt text, which at first would probably sound perplexing, but what it does is it analyzes the image and it gives a really detailed account of that image. And when we used to put in alt text ourselves, it was laborious and we didn't do a good job because we didn't describe the images with full sentences and everything you need. So what we do in concert with SEO is we have an automated alt text that goes in. It describes the image perfectly, and then they will go in and add keywords in there. So we're combining ADA accessibility and searchability with our SEO and combining AI and the human touch to make a better product that's both searchable and ADA compliant. Obviously better for everyone. And then image generation is something that is growing by leaps and bounds all the time. Sometimes they can feel less authentic, and a lot of times we'll use them FPO, like for placement only, or for backgrounds or like minimalist details. But it is improving all the time, and I think soon, maybe this year, it'll replace stock photos, and we'll just start using that because you can really tailor them the way you want and get them really close. And we have that built into our system as well. Look at us, technology driven. Okay, I'm doing okay on time, I think. All right, so this is just the intersection between SEO and design. And, this is your website, you're gonna have to live with it, and that designer probably isn't. So I think make sure, and like I said earlier with ADA and with everything, you need to be an advocate for searchability and SEO early in the process. That can be as easy as on your first discovery call saying, here's the things I expect from you to make this website. And as a designer, when we hear that, we write that at the top and we say, we are going to be graded on this early in the process. So let's make sure this is paramount in the process as we start. So for you, I would say make sure that's SEO. And there's a lot, I have worked at agencies and a lot of them are very segmented. Trish is the SEO head, and I are two peas in a pod. So we're not necessarily like that, but make sure that those SEO departments and design departments are talking and that they're enmeshed, so you can make sure that that's built in and that's thought about early in the process. But you have to kind of be clear about your story. You are the expert of your property. Um, you are the expert in this process. I'm the expert of the web design and the ADA and the UX UI. But if you can, with clarity, tell your story to me better, I can make a better product and I can make a more focused product on your goals. So I would invest time really, really early in the process, even before you go out searching for a new website, and say, hey, here's the things I'm looking for, and here's my story, and here's what I want people to get across on that homepage. Here's the most important things to me. How am I now going to present that visually? And then that's where I would come in and say, I've got a great idea for that, yada, yada, yada. So adding amenities to the homepage is great, both for SEO. We've seen huge returns on using your screen and homepage real estate for amenities. And it's also great for the user. Users want to know what they can do. They want to get excited. They're spending all this money. So there's another area where we can combine the two to get a better result. And then this is just an example of something you need to be looking for, and you can ask your provider, is make sure the platform provides backend access to the head section. So you can add custom schema. That is huge for AI generated results, and it's important because so many people are now searching for AI. Okay. And this is something I talk about a lot, and I usually will end calls with, is just talking about what your brand does. Think about what your brand does today, and think about what it should be doing, and then ways you can remedy this. Hopefully, some of the things I've mentioned are ways to remedy that and things you could actually take action to. But it needs to tell a story. We talked a lot about story. Sorry. But I just think you need to tell someone why they should come to you versus your competitors. There's so many other places to go. Like, what makes you special? Why should I spend my hard-earned money coming to you? It should create a sense of community. And I would say that there's disparate areas of a digital hotel's life that do that well. A lot of times they're doing social media and they're creating a sense of community there. But we need to bring that into the website, and we need to curate our website like we're curating social media, with personality, with fun, with playfulness, and with content that's continually being updated. And then that's going to create that recidivism, that coming back and making the website feel more like a community. It needs to feel authentic. That means not being lazy about ChatGPT. And when you use it, make sure you're reading everything it wrote. That should be easy. But and then make sure that the content is there, that feels authentic, that's in your voice, and that's using using and saying exactly what the rest of the site says. And then obviously it needs to capture your target audience, because we're here to make that money and this is a business. And that needs to be a huge part of every website. We are e-commerce websites, and our number one goal should be to book rooms. And make sure that everything you're doing is to capture that target audience and getting them to book a room. And it can be ancillary, and it can be to make things feel better, but that all needs to be pushing people to book rooms easily and effectively. Okay, and this is a plug. I'm sorry. So this is Trish, who is our SEO head, will be here next week on Wednesday, same time, talking about AI for the SEO for the AI generation. She's amazing. She did it last year, and I learned a ton. And she continues to wow us. So please join. It'll probably be better than this. She doesn't ramble so much. So we have a lot of good information that, again, is usable, and we're trying to tailor this content to be usable to you today, wherever you are in the process and wherever that marketing fits you, that you can use these. Okay, and I'm here for questions. Sorry, I'm a little early. I'm gonna sit here for a minute. How'd it go, Devin?
I think it went well.
Okay, it's hard to
You
tell.
gave me a lot of ideas for future content for us, which I greatly appreciate. So Trish has a great question of
Come
how
on,
often
Trish.
should people be redesigning their sites?
Um, I I say every 2 years. You should have a full down to the studs redo of your website. Um, we have websites that go a lot longer than this, and Trish knows this by what we've done in the past. But I really think you need to go in and have a serious discussion often. Even let's say after you've had a site for a year, go in and be like, and ask your and challenge your design team to say, how can I make this site better? How can we make it different? It doesn't need to be we tear it down and start over, but let's add a few widgets. Let's change the homepage up a little bit. There's a lot of ways we can change the discussion of the homepage and change the orientation to where it feels newer, and we need to be building those into our budgets yearly so we can make sure we have that allocated. Hey, maybe we only need 10 to 20 hours of time to go in and revitalize the homepage. But challenging your design team to come to you with solutions versus you going to them with solutions is a big one. And I'll shout out Valencia Hotel Group. I think I had just started, so it was like 7 years ago. They came to us and they were like, why did we come to you with the solution? You should have already come to us. And I was like, well, I knew about it. And like, well, you should be telling us about this. So now we have reminders to go back in and tell these clients, hey, here's some new things we've seen that we think could really benefit your website. The account manager is constantly going in and saying, hey, here's a few new things we have that we think your website needs to better capture your target market. So I think make your design team and challenge them to come to you with solutions. Will this information be available to view later? Yeah, this is actually just a website. So I just turned this into a website, so I can probably just share that link, and then we are going to send out a recording. So
Yes,
um,
we will be having it once we get the video recording of the webinar. We'll be posting it on the Visor-G YouTube, which we'll share with everyone who attended. And we'll get that out as soon as we have it available.
yep. And then we will be down in June for a roundtable. Thank you for your question, Jackie. I love questions. Um, and we will be down in June for a roundtable. We hope you all can make it, but mostly we hope you can make Trisha's next Wednesday, her SEO talk. And yeah, definitely appreciate your time. How do you keep up with ADA changes and protect against being out of compliance? Okay, so the number one thing I would say you should do is checking your website quarterly. So that is via some kind of automated scan. We have our own technology where we go in and scan, but I would also say watch a video on YouTube about how to manually scan your site with a screen reader. It is already built into, let's say you have a Mac, it's already built into your Mac. And it's very easy to download if you download JAWS or NVDA for a Windows computer. Also, you can just use your tab and your return key to tab through the site like a screen reader would do. And I've shown that before. I could show it again in June in person. And then just doing those two things really keeps you abreast of what's happening on the site and making sure someone can still make an economic transaction. But I would say the main thing we've seen help us is you have to be able to store that information, that historical data somewhere, and then that's really going to help you. That's really going to help you in the future. Creating ADA scans. What are your thoughts on third-party plugins? Oh, someone must have done this just to bait me. All right, so the question is regarding ADA scans. What are your thoughts on third-party plugins such as Accessibility? Are those looking at the same things that your scan does? No, those things are useless. Absolutely useless. So we have seen recently where people are targeting Accessibility websites to sue them because it's hard to understand without knowing so much about the schematic of a website, but it's not changing landmarks. It's not changing the things we need to actually make the site navigable for a user. It tries and it breaks your website a lot. But if you talk to anyone, any blind person, they absolutely cannot use that. Your number one thing you need to do is build something within the WCAG 2.0 specifications. And that includes landmarks and saying, hey, right now you're in the navigation. Because what Accessibility tries to do, it tries to fake it. And it ends up making it much more difficult for an actual blind person to use the website. So those groups are on the warpath against Accessibility, and you can look up all that info about how they actually don't work. And, we stay really abreast of it here. But yeah, those are useless and enraging. And yeah, I would not use them because they're making you a target more than anything. I would rather spend those dollars slowly updating my site for accessibility versus using one of those. Yeah, good question there. Anonymous. Okay, and my email's there. You're welcome to email me as long as it's not spam. Yeah, it's spam, go for it. I'm fine with that. Anyway, if there's nothing else, I'm good. Devin, are you good?
I think I'm good. Just again, reminding everyone to join us next week. Trish is going to be talking about SEO in the age of AI, and we're really looking forward to that session. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Thank you, Devin and Jeremiah. We look forward to
Christina.
seeing you and your team again next week.
Yep.
Take care,
Thanks
everyone.
for the hospitality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.